Well, over the past few weeks, we've celebrated in various guises the manifestation of the Word made flesh. To the shepherds at Christmas, to the wise men at Epiphany, to the people on the banks of the Jordan at his baptism, all are revelations of God in the person of Jesus, whose presence continues to be manifested in people today. But we don't always recognise the presence of God in our daily experience. Evelyn Underhill points out that even when Mary conceived, an occasion when one might imagine the presence of God would be very obvious, there was little to show for it on the surface. All people saw was a poor girl unconditionally submitted to God's will, and a baby born in difficult circumstances. And this contrast between the outward appearance and the inner reality is so often the case. Underhill goes on to say, we must be very loving and very alert if we want to recognise God's presence in its earthly disguise. Again and again he comes, and the revelation is not a bit what we expect. In our Old Testament reading, the young Samuel and his mentor Eli, who were already ministering to the Lord and who you might expect to be spiritually aware, didn't immediately recognise the divine presence. Even so, God persisted, and the response is one that can inspire our own. Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. So what might God be saying to us? Well, perhaps the following story gives us a clue. According to medieval accounts about his life, Martin of Tours, who was a bishop in France towards the end of the 4th century, was travelling near Amiens one night when he passed a beggar. Martin got off his horse, tore his robe in two, and gave half to the beggar. Later that night, Martin had a dream in which he saw Jesus wearing the robe that had been torn in half. When asked where it had come from, Jesus replied, "My servant Martin gave it to me." And so, since we never know what the earthly disguise of the Word made flesh might be, let's be encouraged to expect a revelation of God's presence in the ordinary experience of every day.